Hey girls, so I'm gonna go over proper hand positioning for when you hold your stick. What I would recommend to you is you would get a roll or two of hockey tape. I typically have like 5 or 6 rolls in my bag that I offer on the first few days of school, just so you guys can tie tape around where the spots on your stick are gonna be. But it's like $2 or $3 if you order it online, or if you want to go to CalPro Sports on the Hill. They're very helpful. They have a wide selection of hockey tape, and they're super helpful, and they're usually pretty decently priced. I think it's like a roll for like $3, $3 or $4 there, and it's not bad. It lasts you for a really long time. So if you're gonna go get tape anywhere, I would 100% recommend CalPro Sports. So what you're gonna do is pretend my tape's not here. Like, let's say I'm just gonna pick up the stick without tape. So I'm gonna use my boyfriend's stick right now to kind of demonstrate it for you guys. So I want you, when you're, picking up your stick and you're trying to get the feel of it, I think by now you guys should already have a good sense on where it's most comfortable for you guys to hold it. So wherever it feels the most natural, I want you to take like a mental note of where your top hand and where your bottom hand sit. So your top hand ideally shouldn't be like wrapping above the head here. I want you to have your top hand a little bit lower, just because if you have your hand up here, you're kind of limiting your range of motion when we're playing, because you can't cradle it as well or as deep, and you can't really throw it as well. So bring your hand down just a little bit, maybe like a few inches from the top, and then smack some tape right on there. Maybe go around it like 3 or 4 times just to, have it to where it fits the width of what your hand would be. All right, and then your bottom, the bottom of your stick, you're gonna have it do the same thing, so that you know where your hand needs to be, like your other hand needs to be. So now the reason for the middle bit of tape that I have here is this is where I'm going to put my hand when I'm shooting. So I want you, when you're, just standing there in the comfortable position of where your stick is. So this is where you'd be cradling, right? But you can't really, well, I mean you can, but I'd rather you not shoot at a goal with your hand up this high, because you're limiting how far the stick's going to go. You see how it kind of stops there? So in order to fix that, what you want to do is you want to bring your top hand down a little bit. I'd say don't go past like the middle point of where your stick is. That's a pretty good indicator of how far down you want to bring your hand, because if you bring it down any further, it could be like a really weird call, but I would just rather stay clear of those. So again, I want you to visualize, and you can do this a few times. I want you to just have the stick back like you're going to shoot, and you don't have to have like the best grip on the top. Have the grip on the bottom just for this one. I want you to throw your stick and see where your hand falls. Mine fell a little bit lower than my tape, but that's just because I'm a goalie and I'm used to throwing it really hard. You don't have to do that. So for field players, what I would recommend, just stand here, like you're ready to shoot. Where's your hand fall? If it falls at the middle, that's where you're going to tape it. If it falls a little bit up, like above the middle, that's okay, tape that. I want you to just, without having to really look at where you need to put your hand on the stick, to know where to put it. So that's why I recommend the tape, just because I know where my hand is, just based on like touch alone. So I don't have to even look, let's say I just dropped my stick, right? I'm going to look down and just grab my stick, but without even looking at my stick, I know immediately, just based on the tape, that this is the middle of the stick. This is the bottom, and this is the top. And then these are the placements where I want to have my hand. So if I'm cradling, my hand needs to be at the top. If I'm shooting, my hand needs to slide from the top down to where I can get the most, oomph behind it. When you're shooting too, think of it like you're a catapult. Like those old like catapults where they like pull a string and it goes whap, like it's just going like that. Imagine that when you're, kind of shooting at the goal. So remember, just when you're gonna look for a comfortable spot to put your third piece of tape, start at where it's the most comfortable up here. Pretend you're shooting, slide that hand down, and try and make it to where you follow through and it, it like kind of lays flat. You're not gonna wanna, don't limit yourself if you're gonna shoot, and I want you guys to get this in your mind now. If you're gonna limit yourself while you shoot, you're gonna have a harder time making bowls. So just get used to following through and get that full swing of your stick in. Okay, and so remember, my top hand's gonna drop to the middle of where I get the most range and I flatten out. And then I'm gonna have tape at the bottom just so that I know that I want my bottom hand to not go any higher up than this. Because if I feel my top hand start going above it, that's when I know I'm having an issue and I need to move my hand back down. Alright, if you guys have any questions, just let me know.